Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 24 of This Homespun Life. My name is Lorianne and you're joining me in very sunny South Florida. Clear blue skies, very crisp air. It's probably about 70 degrees now. I know early this morning it was really cool for us. It was like high 40s, early 50, early, high 40, high 40s, low 50s in the morning, which is very cool for us. It is Sunday, November 2nd, 2014, and thank you for joining me. If you are a brand new viewer, thank you so much for checking me out and seeing what's going on in this homespun life. If you are returning, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys tuning in every other week, if I put it up every other week. What's going on? Oh, it's November, Thanksgiving month, and also my birth month. So, happy birthday to me. I've taken over the month. So, there any other November birthday people out there? Let me know. And having a little bit of wine to celebrate. This is Moscato. Yeah, I've never had it before. I am a red wine drinker. I'm not really into white, but figured I'd try it out. Pleasantly surprised. It's very light. I should show it to you. Why do I have it here? I should show it to you. It's very light. Very light in flavor. I get very light citrus notes in it. Not screaming in your face orange. It's very light, very crisp. A little bit of peach, a little bit of apricot, but they are there, but they're not overwhelming. So I really like this. It's also not super high in alcohol. Like I said, I don't usually drink white wine. I'm more of a red wine drinker. And after one glass of red wine, I am like... So this is my second glass. I still have my wits about me. I can still hold a conversation. So that's good. So if you're looking for something new to try, give Moscato a taste. I'm not a wine person, an aficionado. I don't know if this is good wine or cheap wine or whatever. I just like it. So that's that. This week, I haven't gotten much work done because I had two projects that were kind of taking up my time. So I'll talk a little bit about that, what I'm currently working on, and a few acquisitions. By the way, this is the Hitchhiker by Martina Bim. You know what I mean. This was done out of Loops and Threads luxury sock yarn. I can't remember the colorway name. Spring Fling was the name of the colorway. I absolutely adore this shawl. First of all, it's super easy. And I really love the way this one came out with the colors. It's gorgeous. It's my favorite shawl. Absolutely favorite shawl. So anyway, that's what I'm wearing. Let's get started with what I'm working on. So I have one finished object this week, but unfortunately I don't have it to show you. It was a birthday present from my mom, and it was the Tandem Scarf. The recipe, Lord. The pattern is in interweave knits for fall, so you can check that out. These are the two colors that I used. This purple is Lion Brand Heartland in the Hot Springs colorway. which, like I said, is weird because it's purple. But it's 100% acrylic, 251 yards. Ended up using one skein and a little bit out of this one, not too much. But it's a really pretty purple color. My mom is in love with purple. It's getting washed out to blue. I'm sorry. But it's a very rich purple with like a dark gray undertone. And then the accent was done with this yarn. This is Patton's Classic Wool Worsted Weight, as you can see in the Harvest colorway. And they used a smidge of it. It's 192 yards or 192 meters or 210 yards. And I'm looking to make a hat out of the rest of this. Isn't this gorgeous? Absolutely perfect colors for fall. I love it. So I'm looking to make another hat, probably another hurricane hat, because the last one I made, I used Patton's wool as well, and it's very warm. So these two are done. Hopefully I'll be able to get a picture of my mom wearing the scarf, and I'll post that on Instagram, so you can check me out for that. What I'm currently working on is a pair of socks. You're going to notice I have two on the needles, so yay for that. I had started, they're both again Patton's Croy Socks FX in the clover colors. And you know, everybody knows Patton's Croy. 50 yard skeins each, 152 meters or 166 yards. And I got this on clearance at Joann's like a month or so ago, as you see, 97 cents each. So as you can recall, I had this one on the needles when I went up on my trip to South Carolina. And I've been working on it, but I'm almost to the point where I'm getting ready to put the heel in. So about a week ago, I was going to the movies, and I didn't want to bring this with me because I figured I'd get it done, or I'd get to the heel while I was there, and I couldn't do the heel in the dark. So I started the other foot, same yarn, but it didn't start in the same place, which is totally fine. As you also remember, I had gotten this 9-inch circular needle on my trip to Carolina. I'd started making there you go. I'd started trying to make socks while I was there, and it just wasn't working out. So I figured I would try these to see how it works. There's definitely a technique to using this needle. I am a DPN fan. I learned to do socks on DPNs. I'm very comfortable with it. I can go pretty fast with the DPNs. This circular was giving me fits. It's causing me pain in my hands, and my fingers couldn't get a really good grasp on it, and I was going very slow. And then on top of that, my gauge changed. If you can notice, looking at the rib, they are different sizes. This is way more compact. This is very loose. Now, part of it is I decided to do this looser because I wanted it to be able to go over my foot. And the last time I was doing socks with these needles, they were super tight. So I did choose to do this looser, but when I got back to normal tension, it was still too loose. I measured my gauge, stitches per inch. I was getting about between 7 and 8. Yeah, between 7 and 8 stitches per inch. Where on here I'm getting a consistent 9 stitches per inch. Same US size 1 needles, just that one's DPN and one is the 9-inch circular. So I really had to work on it. I was about to pull it out. I was about to say this is not going to work. I wasted my money getting these needles. Oh, I can't believe this. But I decided to just go at it, use this as an experiment, and see how it goes. I gotta tell you though, I've gotten into a good rhythm with it. I feel much more comfortable. I'm going really fast. So I'm excited with that. I want to see how it goes. I'm almost to the same point as this other one, as you can see. The one thing is it curls a lot, which is annoying. But I'm probably about an inch and a half behind, or maybe closer to 2 inches. This I'll tell you more about when we get to acquisitions. But yeah, so I'm liking it a lot. So hopefully next episode I'll have both of these done, which would be awesome. So that's that. Again, it's Patton's Crochet Socks FX in the clover colors. What else am I working on? Well, I've heard about this, is it a celebration, or I don't know what you call it. It's National Knit a Sweater in a Month, whatever. I had heard about it last year, but like it didn't really register with me. I'd never knit a sweater last year. If you remember, a couple of weeks ago, or more than a month ago, I had shown you that I'd started the lace panel on this sweater, and I left the paper. I cannot believe this. Hold on a moment. Okay, I'm back. So I told you that I'd started this Bailey's Irish Cream cardigan by Baby Cocktails as part of the Wolf Farms podcast designer along for October and November. So I started it in October, and a lot of things happened. I just did not put any work into it. So you can see a little bit of what the lace detail looks like. Let's see if I can find another photo for you. All right. Oops. There you go. That's what it ends up looking like. So there is lace patterning on the sleeve, then it's all stockinette up to here, then there's the lace panel on the front. So I started the sleeve, I did this first 2 repeats and then put it down for weeks. So I figured I'd take the opportunity with this National Knit a Sweater in a Month promotion going on and just finish it this month. That would be awesome. And it would also put me in the running for the designer along with the podcast. So I picked this back up, started working on it yesterday, and oh, I am just completely unprepared right now. The yarn is Barocco Folio. Does not have a colorway name, but it's 65% superfine alpaca, 35% rayon. It is DK weight, and color 4554, or what I'm calling jade. It's a very clear green, beautiful yarn, beautiful color, very soft, and it's knitting up really well. One thing I didn't notice, when it's in the ball, I guess you call it looks really smooth. So I was fine with that, but once I started knitting with it, if you look at, look at how hairy that is. I'm a little nervous about this, an entire sweater with all that hair. I'm a little nervous about that, but I'm going to continue with it, see how it turns out. I originally started this with US 6s, DPNs, and I lost my other. I had 3 and was knitting with the 4th. I lost the 4th. I don't know where I put it. So currently I'm using US 5 3.75 millimeter circulars and doing magic loop, which I'm fine with. So let's see if I can knock this up. I know I can knock this out in a month. I just need to actually pay attention to it. So that's my progress. And I think I'm moving on to the stockinette portion of it now that I've finished the pattern. So that's all I'm working on. No spinning. I do have another thing to show you, which would be weaving. So let's go there now. So let me introduce you to my brand new loom. This is a Cromsky Harp rigid heddle loom. It's standing up right now, which is probably not the way it should be. I just moved it out of the way so that I could show it to you. But like I said, it's a rigid heddle loom. It's 32 inches across, so it's the largest size that they have. And I got this not for personal use. I got this for my business. My mother and I are thinking seriously about really getting started with the business again, and actually move forward with it. You know, she is of an age where it's really close to her retirement. She works in a very intensive profession, and she wants to get out of it as soon as possible. So we need to move forward with our business and make it so that she can work on that instead of the other stuff she's doing. So as you can see, it is warped up, and I've already started working on it. This warp I put on started out at, hang on, I have a yardstick. Started out at about, what is that, 13.5 inches. The warp is made up of black with with 2 stripes of cream. It's not fully white, but I used, remember this, Loops and Threads Wool-like. So one is black and one is, like I said, kind of off-white. And used about half the skein. I measured the 4 yards of warp on this. So let me tell you a little bit more. I'm sorry. Whee! Let me tell you a little bit more about why I chose the Cromsky Harp. I was looking at a couple of options, and I decided to go with the harp for a few reasons. The ones I was looking at, they were all kind of in the same price range. I knew how much I could spend and how much I couldn't. So it was between this and the Ashford. I don't remember the name of theirs, but the Ashford one. They're basically in the same price range. This one, like I said, is 32 inches across. The great thing about the harp is that it has a built-in warping board on the back of the loom. So hang on. If I turn it over for you all. Can't do this. Do you see these holes along the sides and on the bottom? Those are the holes that you put pegs in. They give you the pegs. Put the pegs in there and measure out your warp and wrap it, and you have your warp built in. You don't have to purchase another piece of equipment. I'm sorry. As you can see, my heddle has fallen, and I'm not going to fix it right now. But so the warping board is built in. It's its own thing. It did not add to the price, so that was awesome. The second reason is that this loom can actually fold. It'll fold with the warp and the heddle attached. I'm not going to do it right now because I'm nervous. But it can be folded and stored in a tote bag, or stored under the bed, or stored in a small space. And so your work is there, ready to go. You can just pull it out and fix it back, and you're ready to go. It also has an optional stand, which I think the Ashford has as well, which makes it easy to work on. I'm not going to get that right now. One day I will, but I'm not going to get that right now. And I think those were the main things. I can't remember the other stuff right now. It's just pretty straightforward. Comes finished with a nice clear coating. Nothing needed to be done with it. I took it out of the box, put it together, and it's ready to go. It came with 2 of these, I think they're called stick shuttles. I believe they're called stick shuttles. And you see they come sized to the loom. So the notches are there. You would do like a figure 8 setup when you're wrapping on the yarn at first. Then you go back and forth from end to end, wind your weft onto it, and you can go back and forth. So it comes with 2 of those. It also comes with a pickup stick. And that's all well and good. I'm not using the shuttle sticks. I've decided to use something that I purchased. I'm sorry, this is bugging me. Oops. I purchased separately a boat shuttle. So y'all that weave, you know what these look like. The red contraption is the boat shuttle. This is the bobbin, and it's a Leclerc boat shuttle. I think it's 11 inches. It was $20. I also got the loom at the Woolery. You can see that I got this at Woolery, Woolery.com. So that's what's going on. I decided to use that. I started out down here. I have some waste yarn here that I can't really show you right now. I use that to normalize the warp. Then I started out with this cream, which is the same cream as the edging, just to get used to the feeling of weaving on it. And then I started another pattern of alternating the wefts. One pass is with this yarn. Oops. This yarn. I got it on my trip to Carolina, and this is Painted Desert. It's a fingering weight yarn. Is there a color? Of course there's no color. It is 100% superwash merino, well, superwash wool, 437 yards. Did not have a colorway name, but you can see it's kind of, what would you call that? Would you call that variegated or tonal? Blues and purples and teals. Very pretty. So I'm using that, and I'm alternating it with the black wool-like. Now I will say one thing about warp and weft. Like I said, I used the wool-like for the warp, and I don't think I should have. What I didn't notice with this yarn before is that it has a lot of stretch to it. I didn't realize it was this springy. So it's hard to have it as a weft. You do want something that is easy to move and is strong, but I think because this is so pliable, my heddle cannot stay upright. It'll stay fine in the neutral position, which is where it is now. It is in the neutral position. I know this is upside down, y'all. I'm sorry. But it won't stay upright and it won't stay in the down position. So I have to hold it. The next time I do this, I will not use this kind of yarn. I'll use wool or cotton for the warp. I think this is perfectly fine for weft. It's been working perfectly fine, so I think that's fine. But for warping, you need something really strong. Oops, you need something really strong. I think that's pretty much it. I'm just learning as I go. I'm trying to keep my tension even on the edges. I think I'm doing okay. I can do better, of course. This is the first time I've ever woven in my life, so it's okay. Yeah, that's it. That's my big excitement. I'll continue to show you progress on Instagram. Follow me there at Homespun Life. You'll see all that I'm working on, and yeah, this should be fun. I'm thinking of turning this into a scarf, just for me. I mean, I'm just playing around to get a feel of things. Okay, so I said up here the warp was about 13.5. The project is working out to about 11.5 consistently, about 11.5. So is that good? Is that too much of a loss? I don't know, y'all. Tell me what's going on. So anyway, that's it for weaving. Let's talk a little bit about more acquisitions. So more about acquisitions. When I realized I was going to buy the loom, I went to the library. Got a couple of things. This has nothing to do with weaving. This is Sydney Sheldon. I bought this there. It's called The Sands of Time. I've never read it. It came like this without a dust cover or anything. I have no idea what this book is about. I didn't need to know what this book is about. It's Sydney Sheldon. So I bought it for $1. I'm sure I'll love it. And it's super thick, which I love. So there's that. These are the two books I got for weaving. The Hand Weaver's Pattern Directory, and Learning to Weave. So, the Hand Dyer's Pattern Directory. I keep wanting to say dictionary. By Ann Dixon. I haven't read all the stuff in it, obviously. And if you guys have this book, please let me know if it's good. I have been looking at some of the bits and pieces in it. It's very interesting so far. Lots of information, especially about reading drafts and creating your own drafts, different kinds of fibers to use for weaving, different types of yarn. Talks about spinning here. Here it talks again about the different types of yarn, warp and weft yarns. Probably should have read this before I did the loom, but here we go. Threading the selvages, all this stuff. So much great information. I've heard the term set before, had no idea what set meant. Talking about structure, and all of that. Color scheming, you know, beautiful stuff. that you really do need to know when you're working on a project. Basic threadings. And then I got into some of the patterns, not really patterns, they're not patterns, they're, you know, examples that they show you. This is not trade secret. This is just weaving basics. So she starts talking about straight drafts. Again, she teaches you how to read a draft, you know, what this section is, what this section is, what that section is, and how they vary and how they show themselves in the weaving. So let me show you the page that I've been using. No, I haven't been using it. I've been looking at this page as my beginning lesson, as what I want to work through. So you can see that I'm kind of using this technique right now, where I'm alternating. I have one main color for the warp, and then I'm alternating colors for the weft. And it's giving a really pretty design, so I love that. Here are some other examples of how the colors interplay, and I'm gonna work through this for this scarf. Again, one color here, two different colors here, and how that works out, and then other options. So, excuse me, that's great if you only have two heddles, and a rigid heddle loom is just like having two heddles. It can only go up and it can only go down. So that's the great part. And then they go into twill, which this requires 4 heddles. But I have some ideas about how I can make that happen. I'm not going to work on this yet. I want to get more familiar with the loom and what I can do with just the rigid heddle setup. After that, I'm going to change some things around. So what I'm noticing, just to go back to the front, I didn't even realize it said when I picked it up 4 shaft looms. I did not think about that. But what I'm noticing is that when it comes to learning weaving and being very basic stuff, they tend to focus on 4 shaft looms, and then as you get more into it, they move up in terms of the number of shafts. But 4 shafts seems to be like the very basic level of weaving. So you know, there's still a lot to learn in here, even though I can't use the majority of what's in here in the traditional sense. I can use it if I do some tweaking, which I'm planning to do. But yeah, still great information, great patterns, great ideas. So I'm excited to try some of these out in the future. So I'm not going to go much further with this. Oh, wait. The back also has a guide, an at-a-glance guide that you can use while you're weaving, just to help you with reading the draft and all that good stuff. So it's a very cool resource. It's called the Weaver's Pattern Directory. I'm definitely thinking about buying this because there's some great patterns in here. The next one I got was Deborah Chandler's Learning to Weave. And I thought this was going to be an amazing resource for me, coming from the very, very, very beginning, and then, you know, learning to become awesome. So again, what I didn't realize, Learning to Weave is a 4-shaft weaving course. It's called Learning to Weave. Why do you need 4 shafts? Oh, Lord. But anyway, again, I'm sure there will be great information in it. Oops. I'm sorry. Let me get to... So, information about, for the very beginner, all the stuff that you need to know into beginning to weave. Now that you know the basics, you can learn to read drafts, plain weave variations, altering drafts, and then once you know more than the basics, then you can do double weave, honeycomb, lace, summer and winter, overshot. And then the great thing about this is she takes you through all the stuff, including finishes, um, you know, which is something that I need to learn about because I don't know how to take this project off the loom once it's done. But like I said, they seem to, when you start talking about learning to weave, they jump straight into four heddles. And that's kind of annoying because I only have two. But still cool stuff, still a lot to learn. And I think this will be a great resource as well. I really do have to read through it to see what's going on. I have it for a couple of weeks, so I will definitely be reading through that. And of course, eventually I want to upgrade to, you know, a 4 heddle or 8 heddle or 10 heddle loom. The idea, the goal, of course, is to have a great floor loom with, you know, 10 or 12 heddles. You can do amazing stuff, very intricate patterns. So that's the ideal, but I'm not there yet. So I want to learn the basics, and then we can move into the intricate stuff. So you can see it takes you through all kinds of information about threading heddles and, you know, wrapping the warp and all that stuff. And then it takes you into different kinds of patterns, different ideas. Some of these great projects. It's a beautiful like accent pillow. This looks like a throw. And so yeah, awesome stuff. Again, teaching you how to read drafts from, you know, the threading. There's the tie up. There is the shaft, and then there's treadling and all this good stuff. I can't go through all of this with you because you'll be bored to death, but nevertheless, I think this is a great resource. It's called Learning to Weave by Deborah Chandler. I have to check Amazon to see how much this would cost, but I think it would be worth having. So that's my acquisitions on the book side. You saw on my socks that I had a new stitch marker. It's not exactly a stitch marker, it's a charm. I went to Michael's to look for buttons for that project for my mom, and I saw these charms like for bracelets, and it was on clearance for $2.50. You got 5. So I was like, hey, let me check it. And it worked. It worked. So I pulled this little metal thing off. As you see, it's still there. And then I just used this little ring for the stitch marker. And I think this could comfortably fit up to a US 3 needle. It may be a bit snug on a 3, but I think it could still work. So you get 5 little markers for $2.50. I can deal with that. I also saw these buttons. How cute are these buttons? Oh my goodness. So these are, it's called All Sewn Up. So you have a tape measure, a pair of scissors, 2 thimbles. This is a really big needle. It doesn't have a backing on it. Spools of thread, a mannequin, and some buttons. And they are actual buttons. You can sew them on. So I saw this and it was $1.99 for these at Michael's. It's like, nah, I had to get this. I had to get this. I don't know what I'm going to put it on. I don't know, maybe a nice shawl or something. This wouldn't really work on a sweater, I don't think. Although I'm sure I could make it work. But this was too cute. $1.99 for 8 buttons. So, well, 7 buttons and a shawl pin. So very cool. What else? I don't think I had shown you this yarn. This is the last skein of yarn I got on the shop crawl yarn crawl that I went to in Carolina. And this is from those people, Fiber Arts. And I think the colorway name is Diamond Head. So it is 50% superwash merino, 25% bamboo, 25% nylon. You can see that it's fingering weight, 440 yards. And it's just tonal gray. From white to a deep like a charcoal gray. I don't have anything like this in my stash, so I think this is a great color to ground your accessories. Like, you can't always have bright pink and blue and orange, even though I love it, but this is great to have to wear over a bright dress or a really interesting shirt. So that was cool. And I got some fiber. My shipment from Enchanted Knoll for October came in. As I told you, I'm with the Happy Hooves Club with Enchanted Knoll, and the colorway is called Debbie's Place. And I got the top, which is 100% US grown Targi. Is that how you pronounce that? Targi? Or Tarhi? Or Tarji? I don't know. I call it Targi. Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong. But I've never experienced Targi before. This is what it looks like. Oh, this is getting washed out. That's terrible. It is not like that. It is so much richer. But this is what it looks like. It's gorgeous. Bright greens into kind of aqua colors, royal blue, navy, a little bit of like a mustardy yellow. Really, really cool. Now, and like a certain type of orange. It's a very muted orange. Now, what I noticed, when I felt the package, I thought it was going to be like Corriedale, because it's very floofy. Very floofy. And I'm not really a fan of Corriedale anymore. I think it's too coarse. This fiber is anything but coarse. It is smooth. Smooth is the word I would use for it. Like, I could pet it for a long time. It has the floof, but it's not a crunchy fiber. Y'all know what I mean when I say crunchy, right? This is really springy and soft. It would be very warm. I can feel that. It'll be super duper warm. I don't think I would get something very thin with this. I mean, I could, but it would be kind of rough. It would be hard for me to keep it thin. I think my singles would be probably like a fingering weight. And then plied, you know, you'd get your DK or something closer to worsted. So that's fine. I think that would make a great cowl or, you know, hat and mittens kind of thing. So I'm very pleased. Again, Targi, very soft, very smooth, warm, and I would say next to skin soft. I would say next to skin soft. So if y'all have ever used Targi before, let me know what you thought of it and the best uses for it. But again, Happy Hooves Club, Debbie's Place, 100% Targi. I may even get an extra an extra bit of fiber, because normally after they've shipped out, the beginning of the next month, if there are extras left, she puts them for sale. So I may even pick up another braid, because I like this a lot. And speaking of spinning, I was rummaging through stuff and I found this. My first ever skein of hand spun. I did this on a beginner's drop spindle that I got from Heather at Highland Handmaids, and the fiber I think was from her as well. It was called As You Like It, I believe, from a fiber club I had. I had joined with her and Keegan Lane Yarns and can't remember the other dyer, but they had dyed up some specialty fibers and sent it out to us. This, I believe, was Shetland. I ended up spinning about 3 or 3.5 ounces. I got 4 ounces, and I spun about 3.5. Got really low yardage because hello, thick and thin. But I remember when I did this braid, I was so excited, when it was dry, and I was able to look at it, and it said, I made yarn. I made yarn. And it just felt so empowering. I didn't even realize that this wasn't, amazing. This wasn't the best spinning job that could ever be done. I just knew that I did this. And I was going to make something with it, which, as you see, I never did. But it's just great to look at this. I did this how many years ago? 1, 2, 3. About 3.5 to 4 years ago. So I'm still kind of a newbie spinner. But I loved it. I really loved it. I still love it. And it's exciting to look back and see where you're coming from. So with that, I think I will leave you all today. Thank you for joining me. Have an awesome rest of your day and week. And I will see you guys in 2 weeks. Bye.